Welcome to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, where world-changing spiritual entrepreneurs come to deeply awaken the power within to bring forth their greatest purpose, to create massive awakened impact for millions of souls around the planet, while enjoying being in tune with all life and real wealth in all aspects of their lives. I'm your host, Daniel John Hanneman. And welcome everybody to another Spiritual Rockstar Podcast show. Oh my God, this guy, I've never heard a story so amazing. This triumphant story, this guy, I might get behind this guy to make a movie or something. He hasn't already started on that project, but I don't know, we'll find out. So Chris has got a phenomenal life story and a phenomenal being. He's got incredible lessons to share with you that will help wake you up to the possibilities. Man, just get clear. I mean, come on, like, let's go. So he's going to share those things with you. You're going to love it. I'm so grateful you're here today, Chris.
Thank you for having me, Daniel. This is awesome.
Awesome. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share with you a little bit about Chris. Chris, this is only my second time saying his last name out loud, Jankulovski. Okay, I think
not bad at all.
Not bad. Okay, author of Near-Death Lessons, is the founder and CEO of Remote Staff, a recruiting I can't talk today. Recruiting company specializing in remote working placements. Remarkably, he was able to build and grow this thriving business while battling cancer, failing kidneys, and several brain operations. Oh my God, that's not even all of it. Like, he's got so much more, really. He summarized it really nicely, though. Okay, throughout these challenges and more, Chris was able to find a way to transform his life from one of fear, struggle, and self-doubt to one of empowerment, success, health, and happiness. So, oh my God, I can't wait to share with you what he's got here for you. Chris, we've heard these terms before, live deliberately and all this stuff, and get your mind right, get your intentions focused and all this sort of thing. And so I'm wondering, like, even with the little brief bio people get, like, okay, this guy's dealt with some stuff in his life, right? I mean, I'm reading your book right now. As you know, you generously, I received a copy from you, and man, I haven't even got to the stuff you're mentioning in the bio for the most part. Like, I haven't even got to that part. And it's already like, wow, what a life this guy's been living already. So you just, man, you've got like this rebel soul. You're like, and screw all these rules, screw all the BS everybody's been feeding you. So I always want to say that up front, because some people might be like, yeah, sounds like the usual kind of stuff, get clear, do your thing. Okay, no, this guy is like a rebel. Like, he's like, no, it's even simpler than you realize. Like, I could just read people and what they're trying to bring forth. So Chris, like, let's talk a little bit about that. Like, how are people missing it? Like, what is it in our society program? Because you talked about like growing up and the things you dealt with then, and how you rebelled and stuff. And what are the things that people are missing that, where life could be so much better, but they're missing it mostly because of conditioning or what we're told how everything works?
Yeah, thank you very much for the questions, mate. Look, it all starts. It's a lot. Everything, all these problems are a lot simpler to solve than we all realize. But the biggest challenge for all of us is not solving the problems. It's being aware of the problem in the first place. And I'm talking about our mindset problems. For example, the biggest challenges most people live with and aren't even aware of is what I call a victim mindset. What is a victim mindset? Well, it's simple. You're running away from life. You're running away from life's problems. You're running away from responsibility. You're running away from ownership. If you are doubtful, if you are uncertain, if you are unclear, you're a victim. It's that simple. How confronting is that reality? Let's just sit there for a second. Deal with this. Hang on a minute. You mean, Chris, if I'm doubtful, if I'm uncertain, if I'm not clear, I'm a victim? I often discover most people are. Because when you have clarity, when you have enthusiasm and you're committed towards this exciting visions and this connection that you've got with whoever you want to call this person. I call him God, but we can call him anything you want. Do you think you're going to have doubts? Do you think you're going to have insecurity? Do you think you're going to be confused all the time? No, no, no. He's looking for people who could be their vehicle for him, who could serve, who could be there to say, hey, I want to be the best version of myself so I can represent. So let's get the spiritual conversation on the table straight off the bat. You ain't fooling anyone when you are looking in that mirror. When you're broken, you're not strong because you how much you could take. You're strong because you got broken and you rebuilt after you've been broken. That's strength. And rebuilding over and over and over, looking in the mirror. Every time I've confronted myself, nearly dying over and over, again and again, I get to a point where I go, I'm here again. I'm back. Wow, I can carry on with my life again. Oh, okay, this is how my left hand moves, but this is how normal moves. But I can carry on. I can talk again. It took me 8 months to learn how to walk and talk. I don't take life for granted. I don't take my moment of time in this earth, in this period of life, for granted. So what am I going to do about it? What are we going to do about it? That's always the question that I'm always confronted with. And every time I confront that question, I always respond by saying, man, it ain't nothing to do with me, my desire. I've already achieved my dream life, my dream cars, my dream home, my dream family, dream businesses, dreams. What happens after that? Well, you get to a point where all you care about is serving and representing someone. That's it. Being worthy of all these second chances, being here to demonstrate to the world that, man, we ain't supposed to just survive. We ain't supposed to just be here to exist, pay bills. Really? Nah, we've all got a seed in us. We've all got a capacity that's uniquely to us, like our fingerprint. Are we going to die with our dreams, never tested, never explored? How many of us do? How many stories have never been written, movies, projects being done? Because you know what? The world is better off when we apply ourselves, fail, the world is better. You've grown, whether you exceeded or not. I mean, people underestimate progress happens in a non-linear fashion, just like wealth. It doesn't happen in a linear fashion. Everyone's fixated on linear career growth, linear progress growth, linear wealth growth. Nothing's linear. Are your emotions linear? No. Is life linear? Is the weather linear? What the hell is linear in life? Is there anything linear in life? There's nothing linear in life. So why do we all behave in such a way that we all expect linear?
Yeah, I mean, that's the conditioning, right? So getting back to what I was talking about in the beginning, the conditioning is you get into a career or business, okay, maybe you struggle at first, or maybe you start at a lower pay, then you're going to get your raises, your business is going to grow, and then you're going to keep growing it by X% a year. And as long as it keeps growing, you're fine. It's all linear. And then you get to the mountaintop, and then you retire eventually, and then you have the good run or whatever in your life, and then you're done and you die, you paid all your bills or like that. Yeah, it's this sort of like all these like very static basic ideas. I know, like with me in business, seeing it like, oh man, I can't even buy anything, right? Like I get a 69 cents to go get a Coke or something. I'd be like, oh my God, I'm going to get that Coke today. I got my $1 bill in my hands. Like whatever. I was the happiest man in the world. Yeah. It just goes to show it doesn't take a lot necessarily all the time to make someone happy for a little while, right? I mean, it's like, whoa, I'm so abundant now. And so, but my point is the business finally took off. I got through the struggles and I built, a nice business, multi-six-figure, a little enterprise, a little nice business, nice following that I had with the business I was doing at that time. And, I just thought, oh, well, it just keeps growing. It just keeps continuing. No, it didn't continue. It actually dropped off. And it's like, okay, now I'm building back up again. Now I'm building something new, right? So it's like, yeah, because that's what I was like, why is my mind saying this? I know this isn't true, but it's like, you should just kept growing. it must be something wrong with you. You're supposed to keep growing. It's all linear. It's supposed to just keep growing. So what is that? Where, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't matter, but I'm like, what is that all about, Chris? Like this idea, it's all linear. It's all
Yeah.
just supposed to happen on this exact timeline. We're going to make our goals. We're going to hit them all, and it's always going to be linear. We got to totally, is it just a control thing, or what do you think?
So I think it's first, business is fascinating because what I love mostly about business, and anyone who applies themselves in business, is first you move from the slow lane to the fast lane of personal growth. That's first. Two, when you're in business, at the end of the day, all money stops with you. Like, and the bill ends with us. All decisions end with us. All mistakes end with us. All success ends with us. We take it all. We take all the credit and all the negative. So first thing is, with a business failure or it going down, you have to take some time out, observe, and show awareness to, well, where did it go wrong? Was it my team? Was it my execution? Was it my operation? Was it a shift in the market that I didn't observe? Was it a positioning thing? There's so many things that could go wrong. You must understand what it was in order for you to break past that and not hit that same roadblock and get back up, down, like a lemming. What I love about going past that 6 figures to the 7 and past the 8 to the 9 and so on is those boundaries. You always break those boundaries. Man, I've spent so much on management mistakes. Oh man, I've spent so much on, when I ran a real estate portal, I lost $2 million because of a brain tumors, 2 that almost killed me. And I didn't take them personally. I took my first business loss very personally. And then you realize you don't have to take your business losses personally, for starters. 2, a business loss is your opportunity to learn in an exponential way. You've just paid the price for something. Learn the damn thing. The biggest thing is, what we want to do is move on so fast. Let's not move on so fast. Let's reevaluate. Let's understand what happened. So my first business mistake taught me the most. And then other lessons that I keep failing on, I learn. And I'm saying, look, I'm a normal person. I mean, takes me a long time to learn certain things. I mean, I sometimes make the same mistake over and over, and I go, oh my God. Again, it's awareness. I mean, sometimes our brains are not that way inclined to care or are not that strong in certain things. That's not an excuse. That ain't a reason. Your weaknesses and limitations are someone else's strengths. So why, as a business owner, are you not hiring or trying to come to a solution to find somebody that can help you with that? That's the whole point. It's coming together. We're all connected. Well, you think you're operating in a vacuum? That it's always about you or us as individual owners of things? No, it's always about our ability, our team's ability. As business owners, my job is to empower the people to become their best versions of themselves, to perform to their highest, most skill capabilities, test how far they go. All I see myself as a business owner and others is as airports. We are airports. People come in. I don't have guns to people. I don't control them. They come in, we clean them up, we fuel them up, we educate them, we grow them, then they fly off somewhere else. Sometimes they stay with us. That's great. Sometimes they return to us. That's awesome. But our job is to grow people.
That is so awesome, because a lot of people listening, most of them either don't have a business, or if they do have a business, which again, a good chunk do too, they have a business, they're more like coach, consultant, trainer, whatever, healer, and maybe they have a VA at the most. Most of them don't have teams. They have a team as a small team. They're all contractors, things like that. And then and then there's everybody else. Who knows? I'm sure people that have businesses and whatnot too. So we have a mixture of people listening in, and what you said is so important. I think, one of the things you talk about is like, you have that sort of principle of like starting with the end in mind sort of principle. I don't know if you use those words, but I saw those kind of words in the description of what you sent me. So I was like, okay, all right. So yeah, like if you're starting with that, you want to bring this big contribution, then you should be thinking about as soon as possible, like, Okay, yeah, there's a time for bringing in people on, but you should be thinking about it sooner rather than later. And bring those people, that's
Mhm.
my philosophy. Bring them on sooner rather than later, because otherwise you'll just procrastinate it and it's gonna screw up your growth, ultimately. So it's like you got to bring those people on. But I do know, like when I first started having people work with me, just as contractors, even it's like, oh, okay, I guess I got to control them, make sure they stay on everything. And then what I started learning is that absolutely, for me anyway, does not work. I mean, it's like,
No.
yeah, no, you let go. The more I let go and I hire the right people and I trust them and just give them whatever it is that they need to be best supported, that's how you get maximum results, right? I mean, you can't control it. I love that when you said it's not about you, because you tend to take it personally. It's my business. You better get your ass on my business. Me. Right? You're right. People, a lot of us do get caught in that. That's a big limiter, isn't it?
Look, I serve a lot of small business owners. 60% of my business is servicing the small people that you've just mentioned, because that's my business. I supply VAs, I supply customer support, designers, writers, all types of stuff, developers, and so on.
Mhm.
Many of these smaller people, what I see, because I've serviced 3,000 employers, yeah. So 60% are small, 40% are larger. The smaller guys have a few things in common. One is, one of the most important job for us, and why I've invested so much in my business in hiring and recruiting the right people, is because it all starts there. Most people, when they interview candidates and people, they're so focused on how they relate with them, the interpersonal skills, and they miss the fact that, okay, yeah, you might like the candidate, fine, but are you hiring the right skill set? Are you hiring the right behavioral attributes for what you need? They're completely not even paying attention to those. They're just going, well, we'll see how we go when we start. Well, there we go. You're about to take a chance. You might lose. Most of us have high ambitions for other people. And so we might give them a chance 3 months, 6 months, 9 months before we fire them. Well, what does that mean? As business owners, when we employ people who aren't the right fit, it's not the staff's fault. It's our fault for starters. Two, we lose momentum and time. Three, we don't get the leverage we need to be able to then build on and build on. Four, we ain't managing them properly. As you just said, when you're controlling, you ain't managing, you're dictating. When you're empowering, you're releasing, you're allowing for them to contribute to your business. That's the whole purpose of what their
Right.
jobs are supposed to be, not you to control them to do shit all the time. If you got your plumber to fix your house, are you telling your plumber how to fix it? No, he's going to
Some
tell you to
people
piss
do.
off.
Some people do, Chris. You're
Yeah,
doing it wrong. This is what you should do.
exactly. We can't be the experts of everything. I mean, that's the whole point. We're trying to hire help, and we want these help to contribute to what we do. Uh, the dream of what we build is so much greater when we've got others on board building it.
Right. It's just, yeah,
It's
it has
only one
the right,
shape.
has to be the right fit, and that's where I think the deliberateness comes in, right? Like I hear deliberateness like getting clear or getting your focus, your intention clear. That's how I hear it. So what do you mean about
Yeah.
living a deliberate life, getting clear, being
Mm.
deliberate about things? Yeah.
Thank you for asking. Listen, look, deliberate life is very important. So for me, it all became because every year I live my life as if it's the last year of life. I get anxiety with that Steve Jobs quote of live as if it's your last day of life. I just struggle with that. So I changed that to live as if it's my last year of life, because I get my scans, my MRI, my kidney scans, all this stuff at the end of every year. And it's like a life certificate. It's like, okay, I can live life to the fullest the following year. I am free of tumors and cancers and all this stuff for this year. I don't have to have an operation. So I run as fast as I can, live life as much as I can for that year. And so what I realized was, because I've been doing this now for quite a while, I realized that I can't live life to the fullest every year if it's my real last year, when I'm unclear, when I'm doubtful, when I'm always pulled and distracted by all this information and advertising and people, and there's all these things going on around our world more than ever before. So right now, more than ever before, it's extremely important that we must get clarity with our desires. What are they? Because if we don't have clarity with our desires of what our real intentions and desires are, then our actions throughout the year ain't gonna result in God knows what. The year is gonna pass. I look at my phone at the end of every year, and I look at the months, January, February, March, and so on, and I look at that photos and I say, how have I lived a deliberate year that month? I mean, did I do anything that I set out to do? First, I got to acknowledge that, have I set out to do something the year before? Did I do it? Recognize that. Because most of us live our lives and the year passes and we've been always blown by the wind. Circumstances of life. We pass the year and, well, this year was good. Yeah, good on you. Well, you're going to live your whole, let's say you've got 70, 80 years of life. You're just going to live every year as if, you know, it just passes and you take your chance. And yeah, well, that year was good. That year wasn't. Well, what about controlling the year? What about the idea of saying that you can live a deliberate year? You can live a life that is deliberately set out, that you've accomplished certain things that you want in your life in terms of who you want to be, contributions, things in your life, whatever you want. Isn't it fascinating if we can do those things? Well, those things can be done by first getting clarity. Second, taking micro steps consistently all year round. Understanding something, applying yourself once doesn't get the results. You can understand the world, it ain't going to do nothing. You think you're going to leave a legacy in 1 or 2 years in life. It takes decades to leave a legacy. When are you going to get started? Hence why it's so important to get clear. And when I'm clear, I can apply myself. And then as the time goes on, as you know, one thing's done, the other thing's done, and I take on a few things, not too many things. But I'm always at it. I'm always making the micro step. Don't underestimate the micro steps throughout the year in a consistent way, because you are growing, you are evolving, you're applying, you're getting smarter in the decisions you're making. And before you know it, the year's passed and you're going, holy cow, I had no idea. I was only wanting to make a $1.2 million profit. I made 2.7. You'll be always shocked, because you always, when you really apply yourself properly, you don't just buy that one dream car, you end up buying two. It's got a compounding effect to it. You got to experience it.
Yeah. So yeah, okay. So what I wanted to say about that is just that, a lot of people will say, but I'm not clear on what I want. I'm not clear on what this business should be. I'm not clear on what my legacy should be, or, you know, all these terms that are bandied around. It's like, but I'm not clear. And do you want to meditate and make money? Let it be simple. Let it be easy. Let it be fun. Go to yoursacredpurpose.com and get your free Meditate, Make Money meditation today. And so what do you do with people that come to you and say, Chris, I love everything you talk about. I want to get totally deliberate this year. I'm going to live like my last year. Oh, if only I knew what the heck to do, though.
Exactly. Typical. Typical. That's always everyone's problem. It was my problem for 13 years. And 17 years I've been a self-empowered individual. For 13 years I've been a victim. The victim mentality starts by me running away from life's problems. In my case, I was running away from my diagnosis. I had no idea that I was often doubtful. I never knew what I wanted as a result of that. So when you're doubtful and you don't know what you want, remember first what I mentioned, you're suffering a victim mindset, you don't even know it. So you got to first get clear of what are you running away from life? What is that you're running away? Are you doing a career that you don't want to do, but your parents got you to do? Are you doing, it's something like that. Like it's deep down that you just been doing, that you fell into place and you've never questioned. You got to get clear, like what is it that you're running away from? Because if you're not running away from everything and you choose life and you're taking on life, therefore you're going to be taking on life's problems. And as you take on problems more and more, you're going to discern, well, I like this, I like to do this, I more than that, I don't like this. Most of the times I've learned what I like is based on doing something I don't like. What I don't like is how I often bounce back into something I prefer, because I need the distinctions. So never just choose something that you know you're going to like. So how I go about doing it, to answer your question, it's simple, it's funny. First, I look at images. We're all visual. Everyone, our brains come to us subconsciously is where most of our powerhouse and actions are. 98% of our energy is in the back of our brain being consumed, 2% consciously. So If most of the energy is at the back, how do we communicate to our subconscious? How do we connect to that? Well, we connect through images and values. That's the only two ways to our subconscious mind. Yes, of course, there's prayer through other means of energy, but image and values. So understand your personal values is always the ultimate clue to understand, well, I'm more inclined, I'm more attracted to this. So you got to understand your personal values. We're not going to go that. We need an hour just to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that. But number two is very simple. Look at images and look at, like, without filters, like remove the filters of limitation, because we limit ourselves so much before we even begin. So look at something. We like to refer to, everyone refers to this as a dream board, but I like to refer to this as a clarity board. I like to have clarity as to why do I get to see a photo of something, and when I see this image, why do I respond a certain way? Why am I happy? Why am I saying, isn't that so nice? When you respond this way, that's the start of you needing to take the energy, time, and commitment to evaluate this desire and question with that what if mentality. What if I had all the money in the world? Let's say I did have all the money in the world. Would I really want to spend it on this? Would I really want to buy that $30 million house? Why? We all just get lazy with our desires. We just go, yeah, if I had all the money in the world, I'll buy that house for sure. Really? Well, what if you had to make a really, really wise decision? And what if it mattered? And what if it mattered not because you have this unlimited money all the time, but what if it mattered because your happiness was on stake? Your decisions are a reminder all the time. All year, when you make decisions on something, you look around your life. It's a reflection of the decisions you've made. You get to relive good decisions over and over all year. You also get to relive the bad decisions all year. So that's one of the things I recommend at the start, because a lot of people who don't know what the hell they bloody want is because they got this limiting worldview and limited views and victim mindset. And when you've got those clouds, it's too hard to see anything. But when you remove all these clouds, man, can you see? There's no shortage. I was like a kid. When I almost died and I had my second chance at life, I've had so many, 8 of them all up. But let's say the first one, and they're hard to come by, and I've had one. My first one was transformative because I realized, one, how insignificant I was in the grand scheme of things. 2, I realized that, man, if I don't start living the life I want, when am I going to get this chance? I may never get this chance. And right away, I realized I don't have time to be down and out. I don't have time to be always second guessing myself. I don't have time to be always doubting myself. I don't have time, because if I don't start believing in me, if I don't start clarity with what I really bloody want out of this life, well, where am I going to get this? Where am I going to get this? And you realize when you look around, it's all up to us anyway. So if it's up to us, when are we going to do something about getting clear with our desires? As I said at the beginning of the chat, the world ain't better off you being somebody confused and doubtful and confused all your life and dead with these incredible seeds that are planted in you that you never even tested. The world ain't better off.
I love that part of, I mean, again, we've heard some of this stuff before for sure, but like that, I love though, taking all the filters off, all the preconceived ideas, all the limiters. Like when you take all that off, now what do you want? Oh, now I'm clear, right? I think a lot of people are clear once you tell them that. Okay, we've taken off all limits, all concepts of what you can and can't have, or why you should have it. All, just what do you want? All right, I'll have that. I'm taking over. I'm going to take over the presidency of this country, or what? I don't know, whatever.
That's it.
Whatever. If that's what comes through, there's something to it. At least it's in the direction that you're supposed to pay attention to. At least because I don't think it's always necessarily the thing, but it's the fuel that will move you into what the direction you're meant to go. I believe.
Follow the energy. The energy is your energy is your guide.
Yeah. So if you follow that, like, wow, well, maybe I don't want to do that, but now I'm inspired to do this, and it gets refined as we go along. Like part of my consciousness says, oh yeah, I want a fancier house than I'm in right now, but I sort of have always resonated with what Warren Buffett says. He's, I've got a splendid house. You know, at the time, like way back when, it was valued at 300K. I'm sure it's worth a lot more than that with all the prices went up. But he's like, you know, but I don't need more than this. This is a perfectly perfect house for me. I don't really want anything more than this, you know. So everybody's different, you know. I mean, everybody's got different. This house to me is relatively perfect for me for now, but I know it won't be that way in the future. Eventually, I'll be like, no, it's time to get. The other thing I'm just craving is to go in another location. I want to go to another location where I don't have to deal with the winters anymore, but it doesn't feel like it's time yet. So I'm like, okay, you know, so I get, but it's a play thing. It's like, okay, but when is it? You know, okay, my kids are going to graduate, then we're going to go to a warmer place, maybe near the grandkids. All this, it's just like it gets to be. You're right. And what I love about what your energy and what you're pointing to is the fun of it. It's like a game. It's like, what do we want? You could be like that with the inner child every day. What do we want now? Like, I like that. I like that. That's really cool, Chris. Yeah.
It's nice to do this because you get to live a much more exciting life. You get
Yeah.
to enjoy your time on earth. You get to say, here is what I got to enjoy. Here's what I got to contribute and leave behind. Here's what I got to accomplish. Here's how I got to test myself. Here's how I evolved and grew. Here's who I've become. You ain't going to become your full potential in life just always making safe, logical decisions all the time. Sometimes you have to be logical. Sometimes you have to just go with your desire. Sometimes you just have to say, you know what? If this if I'm irritated by winter, like I was in Chicago and it rained a few weeks ago when we last
Yeah.
spoke, you know, and there was raining snow. I was like, I was up until 2 in the morning walking around the snow because for me it was like, what? I'm not in a ski field. I'm in a city and it's snowing. How awesome is this? That was
Right.
very new for me. But you
Yeah.
bump into locals and like bloody weather. Oh, it's terrible. I'm like,
yeah, yeah, we're like, we've had enough of it. I'm like, give me 2 weeks of winter, that's great, but yeah, you know,
I get to fly away. I get to fly
for
away.
months, you know,
So
no thanks. So,
they
but
live in it.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it just, yeah, the whole idea, like creating a life you want. I think people just give up, right? I mean, it's like, well, I guess it is what it is, and that gets in that victim mentality, right? Like, well, I guess it, you know, the economy, all the usual suspect. Right?
They run away. Most people who I speak to run away. They're running
Yeah,
away from something.
yeah,
When you're
yeah,
running away from life,
yeah,
you're a victim. Let's just come with that realization.
yeah.
So what most people I come across, what is the biggest thing they're running away from? Their true desire to be wealthy, and
Mm,
the fact that they tried, that they don't know how to do it,
mm,
they've failed at it, and they're now settling to something to go, oh, well, okay, well, it looks like I'm here.
yeah.
They've settled into, they've put themselves in this box, and they think that, okay, well, I didn't succeed, and I'm going to now limit myself to exist in this sphere.
Hmm.
Now, that's one of the blessings of adversity that I've had in my life. All these multiple cancer battles, all these brain operations, and everything else. It always forced me to break from this mediocrity, this always to challenge my status quo, settling. Our brains are patterns. That's all they are, and we get lazy when we just. You
Hmm.
know, the brain wants to be lazy. So it always,
Right.
once there's a pattern formed, it just wants to easily conserve energy and run these patterns over and over. Well, that becomes your status quo.
Right.
So we
Right.
just run our patterns. And our brain patterns, are they us? No. Are our emotions us? You know, when we close our eyes and observe ourselves observing this awareness, this presence in this dark void, first, that dark void of ourselves in us, when you go really deep down in that, operates in a different time dimension. It's not of this time. It's of a different time.
Mm,
Every time I nearly die and I go into the different time dimension, I've
mm,
noticed it's that place. So when we're in that place, when we're there, you got to recognize something. You are not your emotions. You are not your brain pattern. These are just conditions. These are just expressions of, it's like a hand, it's a vehicle. They're just another sensation of life, but they're not your life. You could redesign them, you could change them. So don't get fooled by your lazy brain who wants to preserve energy. The only way you will change your life is by being observant. Stop being an autopilot. and stop responding to your patterns. You just respond and respond. Well, when are you going to break it? You got to challenge it. You got to question it. First, observe it. Go, well, that ain't working for me. I don't like that. Let me reevaluate that thinking. And let me reevaluate that question. Let me reevaluate my opinion on that matter. Most people conclude things. They label things and they go, well, this is how this is. And you just have to talk to them and you go, but look, use Google, use these AI things. Look at all the wider perspectives out there. The biggest things I do to change people's lives first is broaden their perspective. To wake them up to say, no, you do not have to live this way. No, you do not have to see it this way. No, it doesn't have to be this way.
Right. Yeah, that seems to be one of the biggest keys to kick the party off, at least, right? And so then I'm sure, right? People wanted to devolve back into their old stories, old patterns. Well, I got all excited for a while when you said, Chris, but after all, I realized blah, blah, blah. I got my kids to think about. I don't know. It might be too much.
Patterns.
The pattern machine takes over again at that level until you break free of that, I guess, and then you're in a new.
But what you just said then was a worldview. You've constructed a worldview. Your opinion. That ain't a reality. That ain't a reality. It's just an opinion. It's a conclusion. It's a box.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because like in the spirituality, right? We're going deep spiritual, and some people equate that to well, let's accept everything. Let's just be in the namaste, energy, nice and peaceful. Let's not get too fancy. It doesn't matter. It's just love and kindness and compassion. And what happens, I think, sometimes is, I know it's happened to me at times in my journey, is like it suppresses your desire for things, to even do things in the world, to even get into your vibrancy, because you're like, well, yeah, it's okay. We don't need to be like that. It's okay. So it's like you have a genuine desire, but it's like you don't really trust it in a way or something, like, because you're like, well, I don't know, that's gonna rile up my energy, and I don't know if that's worth it. I want to stay calm and go with the old patterns. Namaste. It's all love and kindness, so we're good then. And we suppress that desire. Like, this is, I'm gonna suppress my desire. Is that simply, from your perspective, just those patterns of comfort, or what is that about?
No. So I'm in a state. I'm in a state of peace. Who said that you can't have peace pursuing your full potential? Who said you can't have peace pursuing your desires? Who said you can't? I don't have attachment to things. Yeah, I've got my toys and dreams of everything, but I don't have attachment to. I know that I'm not leaving this world with these things. These aren't my things. These are just things I get to be control of right now. That's all. So I don't see things as ownership. I see things as, what am I in control of? So therefore, and why do I have a desire to be in control of that, or have that in my life? Well, you just said something on this conversation. You have a desire to be in the neighborhood for a first step. You have a desire to be in another warmer climate to get out of the winters. Well, you've got to understand the desire. You've got to pack on the whys. Why are these things important for you? You've got to have clarity. When these whys are so strong, they will outweigh your doubts and insecurities a little bit. That's how you first get into action. But for this peace of mind stuff and ownership and letting go, and it's brilliant to be in acceptance of life, no matter what it is, positive, negative, pain, love, whatever it is, and be of this incredible state of gratitude. Gratitude is everything. So gratitude is what's most important. It's not this other state. If you could be in gratitude, then you could be grateful for so much. And the biggest thing, when I shifted from victim mentality to self-empowerment, the biggest thing that I discovered was just how much I was limiting myself, before I even begun on anything. I didn't even know how much I was limiting myself. That was freaking me out all the time. So after my brain operation, the first one, I couldn't turn my head. I had 2 kidneys back then. I now only live with half a kidney, and I was peeing out blood. So my right kidney had 95% cancer. We didn't know if it spread. My left kidney had all these cancers. This is back in 2005. And I can't turn my head. Yeah, I got stitches removed not long ago, and I'm shaved on the back. And then there's a run happening in front of my window. And I lived at Bondi Beach in Sydney, Australia back then. And I said, like, wouldn't it be amazing if I could do this fun run? It's about 10 miles. And it's a fun run. You know, people dressed in funny costumes. Some take it seriously, but most 50,000 runners are having a fun run. So I ran this race. No training, no preparation. I got all the excuses in the world. I just had when I told my doctor that I'm going to run, he said, "No, listen, Chris, you just had an operation in the part of the brain that controls your movement. You might injure yourself. I don't recommend it." I said to the doc, "But doc, is it fatal? Am I going to die running this race?" He goes, "No, you're not going to die." I go, "Well, done. Well, if I'm not going to die, I'm going to run." He goes, "Well, wow, okay. Well, I don't suggest you do, but go for it. What can we say?"
Yeah.
I run this race, mate, and I ran it 2 years ago at 65 minutes. My personal target was 60 minutes. I ran this race with this whole new, refreshing second chance at life at 58 minutes and 22 seconds. I broke my personal best. I broke my target goal, and with no preparation, no training, and after a brain operation in the part of the brain that controls my movement. Now, that was the first attempt of waking up to the realization of how much do we limit ourselves? How fast do we conclude results, outcomes in our lives before we even begun? We cut ourselves so short. Who used to say, you know what's annoying? When I ran this race and whatever it is, I tried to become a multimillionaire worth tens of millions of dollars for the longest time. 10, 15 years, I was a failing entrepreneur, starting, failing, succeeding, failing, happy, not happy. And I was all over the place. The moment I ran that race and realized how much I'm limiting myself, it was like a knife edge. A few years later, I became a multimillionaire. Like from trying so hard, all of a sudden it's coming. All of a sudden, everything I touch turns to gold.
Yeah.
You know what the most annoying thing is? It's just a fine line. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It ain't that far. It's not a wide gap.
It's like you took your desire, you just broke through all the sense of bullshit and limits and all those ideas. That's so beautiful. Yeah.
So annoying. The limits are so. We all limit ourselves. The preconceived notions of shit, the surroundings, the status quo, our brain patterns, what they just conclude all the time because they don't want to consume more energy and they don't want to. Thinking takes energy, and so it's so easy to make a conclusion, an opinion about something that you understand. You think by understanding something, you get results in your life. No. You think by taking action, as I mentioned before, take action, you get results in your life. No. So how do we get results in our lives? How do we live a deliberate life? How do we year on year get what we want out of life? That's the whole purpose of this, isn't it? That's what life mastery is. And to do that, all first starts with clarity and really understanding, weighing up that clarity and then doing something about it consistently throughout a whole year. That's where people mostly fall short. Yeah, I have a weight target. I have a health target. I have a wealth target. I have a career target. I have a family pleasure target. Well, there's so many goals. We all have goals. Thank God for goals. Now, how much do you obsess about your goals? How much do you print them, write them, think about them, look at them, link images to them, understand why they're so important to you? If something's really, really important to you, I think what I love about this concept, this strategy of limiting your year as if it's the last year of life, metaphorically speaking, what's awesome about that, and the reason why I did that, one of the things I did that, when I did that, what I noticed was that I brought my decisions forward. Let's marry that girl. Let's do this. I stopped procrastinating on decisions. That was the benefit.
Wow. Yeah. Because some people say that they've tried that and it doesn't work. I've tried to live like every day was my last day and it didn't work. And, it's not the way to live and all this stuff. But I could also see the beauty of it, right? I guess it, so much, there's a little bit of nuance to everything. It's like, yeah, I mean, if you're, I may as well go just like rob every bank or everything. I've only got a day to live. I mean, yeah, maybe it's not going to work out so well for you. Like, I mean, how are you focusing your energy with that? I mean, some people are like, oh yeah, that one's been tried. I think like that's what our brain looks for too, because it does want to stay in safety and comfort. It looks like for all the people it didn't work. See, I can find all these people. It didn't work
Yeah.
for all these people, all my friends and all these other people. They tried one of those, and yeah, Tony Robbins didn't work for them. And this other one, so it won't work for me either. And I won't just forget the whole damn thing. I'll just keep my life the way it is. Right?
Yeah.
A lot of stories, Always looking for the evidence to support where you want to be,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah, that's it.
yeah, it's pretty wild. So Chris, we could go on for hours. We could spend hours just talking about your life story. Like even each story could be a whole hour segment, but you've got so many lifetimes compressed into one. I mean, and I'm almost tempted to go there, but I know we've only got so much time to talk today. So instead of doing that, what I'd rather do is have you direct people to where they could go to check you out more and get your book too, and tell them a little bit about your book.
Yeah, look, thank you for this opportunity. So you can either go to near-death lessons, like near-death experiences, but go to neardeathlessons.com, or if you can spell my surname, go to chrisjankulovski.com or Amazon. And I'm getting some incredible book reviews, which is great. And you can buy the book there. I've spent 6 years writing the book. I initially wrote the book for my two young sons because after my second brain operation, and when a tumor burst, where the doctor says 60% of people die on his operating table when this happens, I'm one of the lucky people to survive. I thought I'd better write my story for my sons. And I didn't want my sons to hate me from my grave. So initially I wrote my story. So without any advice, I just wanted to share my stories. But then a year after my brain operation, I had 6 cancers in my remaining left kidney that I had to operate. And then I bargained with life, God again. I said, God, give me another 10 years and I'll inspire millions, because I knew I've got distinctions that a lot of other people don't necessarily have. They know, but they don't have those perspectives. And so I then incorporated the life lessons into my story. And so I hired a resilience consultant. I said to her, can you look at my story? Can you read my book and just put a spotlight on how I respond to adversity differently from what other people respond to more commonly? And we, as a result of doing that, she read the book 5 times. We had 28 Zoom meetings, and we unearthed 5 patterns, reoccurring thinking patterns, reoccurring energy activities in my life that I'm always responding after each adversity, after each near-death experience. Hence why near-death lessons. These are the 5 life lessons I share. Living up to your full potential, living like as if it's your last year of life, living, achieving deep satisfaction and fulfillment in life. These are all very important topics. Flourishing through adversity, of course, and forming new thinking patterns. So these are the 5 fundamental transformative ideas that I share amongst my story. My story is a demonstration of these lessons, and then I share these lessons in a very tight-packed, not heavy-handed way. So that's my story. The story is engaging. We put a real big effort to make sure that we get the readers interested and on the journey. So you will find the experience an emotional experience. You'll go up and down. You relate. You might cry. You might laugh. I'm very vulnerable. I'm very open in everything. Everything's off. I'm not trying to impress the world. I'm sharing all my warts, all my failures, all my successes, all my demons. Everything's there. So you can see the transformation in the man that had no hope, no desire. I didn't start believing in the future until I had my first brain tumor at 32. So you get to see all of that.
Yeah.
So go to near-death lessons. Yeah.
Near-death lessons. Yeah. Okay, great. Wow, Chris. Yeah, we'll put the link in the show notes for everybody to make it easier and for them to check everything out. And from there, this next segment of the show, I like to just do some quick tune-ins on my guests, do some downloads, energy scanning, I call it. So You ready to receive some downloads and tuning ins?
Let's give it a go.
Okay, awesome. All right, so let's see what comes up. Let me just take a moment. Okay, so what they're showing is yeah, there's sort of like, yeah, there's sort of an aboriginal sort of nature in you that's like, I see like this big long pipe coming out that you're smoking, and I know in the book you're smoking some stuff for sure, lots of stuff. But anyway, so I see that, but it's like there's a sense of you're out like on a mountain, you're smoking this pipe, and so this big long pipe, and it's really you want to really you want to feel more, you want to feel the essence of life, you want to get connected even more with life and the energy of life. I think that's one of the things you love about your desires is like, oh, that turns on the energy in my body, I love this. So like as I'm seeing your connection with the earth and just I would really want to taste life, I really want to sink my teeth into it and all that. Whereas yeah, a lot of us, and you were in your earlier life, at first it's sort of like, yeah, just trying to, I don't know, I'm trying to avoid life. That's why you keep saying that, right? Like we're avoiding, feeling the vibrancy of life because we're in our stories and we get numb and all that stuff. So anyway, so just yeah,
That's very cool, man. Very
yeah.
cool. It's very true. My biggest desire in my questionable life, I don't know. I really genuinely don't know how long I've got to live. I've got 6 brain tumors. I've got 3 cancers growing. Mate, I'm always battling for my life. Well, you think I write about my story and these things didn't happen. I'm always fighting for my life. And so, yeah, while I've got all these second chances all the time, I'm wanting to connect with more people, connect with life more. I want to embrace. And so, very good observation, mate. Very, very awesome.
Awesome. Okay, let's see what else comes through. So I'm seeing like that visionary that you are. Like they're showing me that you're like, I hear like you're saying, if they could only see what I could see, and you're looking out there and you're seeing like all the possibilities. Like every great entrepreneur, has that within them, the potential. Every person probably has potential in that direction. But like you had, the great entrepreneurs can see potential in everything. So they're like, oh, if they could only see this opportunity or that opportunity. And so it's just like you're really good at identifying the opportunities in any situation. So people are like, well, we don't know about this opportunity, it doesn't look too good or whatever. You're like, I can see the opportunity in that. What you would do is this. So that makes for a great entrepreneur. You've got the ability to see those opportunities and to bring them into fruition. You've got an extra gift for that, is what I'm seeing. So that's another one.
Another great observation. I'm always visually stimulated. This is the artwork I had created for my doctor, for example. That's a little figure on top of that moon of the elephant reaching for the moons, looking for more time on this earth. And a beautiful vase there created that captured the spirit of a peacock or whatever it is. I'm always appreciating beauty around me and life and seeing life in these different lenses is amazing. So yeah, another great observation.
Awesome. Okay, we'll do one more. Hold on. So there is a desire, it's interesting, all the near death experiences sort of thing, like because there is this desire in your soul to come, it says come back home, which is, kind of one of the stronger spiritual impulses we have is like, I want to come back home, or that in that full connection with source and God, or whatever people are calling it. So you want to feel that. So one of your psyche or your soul or whatever you want to call it, but like It's like, oh, here's one way we could taste more of that. Let's have some near-death experiences. So it's interesting. So now perhaps what it is that this is where, deepening within more, you can become really masterful in your overall energy and making things happen, and whatever, having a good time, managing things and stuff. And we all have challenges, of course, but you got that going. And then but then now it's like, and you said this, but kind of to me indirectly when we met, like you want to develop this deeper inner connection and awareness that you experience when you just look, like even look, you already starting it, but like I see the beauty and everything. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. And it's like we just want to cultivate this deeper coming back home, because you have a lot of ability to bring everything together, the spiritual, the material, the mental plane, all these different things that people see as all these separate things. Well, I'm the spiritual life. I'm not like this one. These kind of people, you like are looking to embody all of it. So I really appreciate that about you.
Thank you very much, mate. Yeah, always striving to work for the man above.
Right. Awesome. So anyway, so those are the things I wanted to share with you today. If people want to check me out, you could go to yoursacredpurpose.com. There is a Rock Your Sacred Purpose energy scan consultation available to you, but only if you're ready to rock, okay? We're going to take a look what's going on for you. We're going to find out where your BS factors are. You got to be willing to be called out, and we will align your energy and your intent where it truly wants to go with your business and your energies and all that stuff. And let's rock and roll it. Let's take it to where it wants to go in this lifetime. All right. So check that out at yoursacredpurpose.com. And also there's a free meditate to make money meditation in there at my site. And that opens you up, allows the money energy to come in, get your downloads from your guides, the big man upstairs, what have you, all those things, or woman upstairs, whatever you prefer. To me, it's all just it's just cosmic energy and source and all that stuff. So whatever it is you want to connect with from the higher dimensions and realms, connect with it, get the energy of money, turn it on, so it becomes simplified, it becomes easy to get past your mind. So meditate, make money for free. Start for free right there at yoursacredpurpose.com. All right, so Chris, it's just been an absolute joy, pleasure. I've just thoroughly enjoyed this so much, being with you today. I'm just so grateful you've been on the show today.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me on. It's been a pleasure here.
Awesome. Any last words of wisdom for everybody before we just say goodbye?
Enjoy, man. It's just enjoy this life. Enjoy the beauty of it all. Enjoy the pain. Enjoy the love. Enjoy the hurt. Enjoy it all. It's all there for us everything falls into place in our lives. And it's our opportunity to observe the lessons and become stronger from that, become more from that. So enjoy what life has to offer. Do not run away.
Awesome. Yes. All right. Enjoy it all. I love it. Okay. That's so true. All right, everybody. Like I always say, just so grateful for you. And as I always say, keep on tuning in. We'll keep on rocking it here at Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Till next time, everyone.
Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Stay tuned for our next upcoming new episodes each Wednesday and Saturday. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to help us to serve you best. As a reminder, you can get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation at www.yoursacredpurpose.com to rock your sacred purpose. Goodbye for now, everybody.